In the Haggadah Shel Pesach, we read Maisa, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Tarfon. The story with 5 Rabbanim who were all sitting together in Bnei Barak. Shalim Masubim in Bnei Barak, they were reclining doing the mitzvah of Seder night in Bnei Barak. And the question is asked by the commentators on the Haggadah, why are we told where they were, which city, what's the relevance? And also a second question, Rabbi Kiva, as we know, was a disciple, a Talmud of Rabbi Lezer Haggadah, the author of Pirkei Rabbi Lezer. And if he was by his teacher, Rabbi Lezer, then the halacha is that a disciple by one's Rebbe, who one's learned Torah from, is not required to lean. In fact, the halacha states that one does not lean. So how can it be that all these 5, including Rabbi Kiva, were leaning at the Seder when Rabbi Akiva's Rebbe was there? And the answer that is given is like this. The Haggadah specifically tells us that they were in Bnei Barak because that was the area where Rabbi Akiva was the Marad Asra. He was the Rav of that town. And then the halacha relaxes its din with regards to a Talmud in front of his Rebbe, saying like this: even though he's a Talmud of Rabbi Lezer, but since this is the town in which he lives, and it's his town where he's the Rav, therefore he's allowed to leave. But that leads us to another question. Why is it that all the other Rabbanim felt it necessary not to be at home on this Seder night, and Rabbi Kiva was the only one who found himself to be in his hometown? And there are various different answers given. I want to show you an answer that I heard in the name of the late Rosh Hashiva of Yechiel, Rabbi Gurvitz. And he said like this. He brought the Gemara at the end of Maseches Makkos. Listen to who Rabbi Akiva was taking a walk with. Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Akiva. Some of these Rabbanim were walking 2 stories. One time they were walking B'derech, v'shamu kol hamoina shel Romi. They heard the sound of the marketplaces of Rome. And let's go with the second story. When they came across Shuv Pa'am Achas Hoyolim Yerushalayim. One time they were walking up to Yerushalayim. When they came to Har HaTzofim, to Mount Scopus, Koru Bigdeim, they tore their clothes. When they came to the Temple Mount, they saw a fox coming out of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It relates to the Gemara that they began to cry, and Rabbi Kiva smiled. They asked Rabbi Kiva, why are you smiling? He asked them, why are you crying? They said, why are we crying? This is the place where it said Hazor HaKorev Yumos, that a person who is not the Kohen Gadol, if he goes on that place where the Holy of Holies stood, then he's going to die. And now we see a fox walking across it, and this is in fact the realization of the Nevuah of Eicha, that there would be Al Hartzi and Sheshamim Shualim Hilchuvay. They said, you don't expect us to cry, said Rabbi Kiva, and that's exactly why I am smiling. Because there was a prophecy of Uriah Hanavi, and there was a prophecy of Zechariah. Uriah lived in the time of the first Beis HaMikdash, Zechariah lived at the time of the second Beis HaMikdash. The prophecy of Uriah was a prophecy talking about destruction. As it says, Lachem Biglalchem Tzion Sadeh Techaresh, that Tzion will be plowed over, there will be nothing left. And the Nevuah of Zechariah Hanavi, the prophecy was about a future day, Yeshu Zekanim Zekanis Berchovis Yerushalayim, there will come a time when we will return and sit in tranquility in Yerushalayim. It says Rabbi Kiva, until I saw the fruition of the Nevuah of Uriah Hanavi, I was always skeptical about the Nevuah perhaps of Zechariah. Is it going to happen? But now I have proof. If the Nevuah of Zechariah, of Uriah took place, then the Nevuah of Zechariah is definitely going to take place as well. And that's why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I look forward to the time of redemption. Said Rabbi Gurvitz, all these Rabbanim here living just post the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash were all in a situation where they were forlorn, they were in Golus, and they were saying, how can we celebrate Pesach sitting, reclining in Cherus and acting as if we're free people? The only way they could do that was to do it, but dampen it a bit, away from home. Comes on Rabbi Kiva, and Rabbi Kiva says, no, you're right, we're in Golus, and you're right, we're suffering, but we look forward to a future, and on tonight we celebrate, we reenact the going out of Mitzrayim, because if that Nevuah happened, if the Nevuah of the second destruction of the Beis HaMikdash happened, then we look forward to the Nevuah of the upcoming Geula. And that's the theme of the Seder night, that we look back to the past with an eye to the future, and realize from the Nevuahs that have taken place, that there are future Nevuahs that are going to take place, and we wait to relive those, to live those as well.